Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Karibuni katika kipindi chetu cha Al-Muslima. I'm your host Ustadha Aisha Mohamed Abdul Khair. Inshallah, today we are going to talk about loss and grief, and we are with our sister Hamida Mohamed, who is a counselor and a specialist when it comes to counseling loss and grief. We welcome you to our program, Habibti.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah. So Hamida, we'll start by you telling us about yourself.
I'm Hamida, as you have said. I'm a counselor.
Okay.
Yeah, a mother,
MashaAllah.
a wife, a daughter, and also a sister.
MashaAllah,
Yeah.
MashaAllah. Also tell us a bit about your background. Where were you born? Where were you raised?
I was born in Pumwani, Majengo, raised in the same area, married in the coastal region, but currently relocated to Nairobi, back to the same area actually. You know, when you go out, you come back, you need to find where you were first before you move. So back in Pumwani, Majengo, yeah.
So how was it when you were growing up? Tell us about you.
It was interesting. A lot of challenges here and there. But alhamdulillah, when you have parents who are determined to see a brighter future, then you know you're set.
So how has that Majengo background of yours, Pumwani? I relate because I was raised somewhere near California. So how has it affected your personality, the person that you are today?
It has affected me in so many ways. At first, it affects me as a mother. Apparently, or too bad, most of my colleagues were not lucky to have the parents I had. So you could just see the carelessness in some of us parents, which we make, and they have great impacts in the life of their kids. Yeah. Alhamdulillah, I had a mother and a father who were determined to see a better person, despite being raised from that area. And that was when, unfortunately, my time is when most of us were married off early. Yeah, most of us had you had babies out of wedlocks. Most of us get involved in drugs and all that. But alhamdulillah, my parents fought a great battle.
MashaAllah. Okay, we do know what people say, or rather what people see, like Muslims see when it comes to Majengo area. They always say, oh, when it comes to crime, Majengo youth are there. When you talk about drugs and things like that. So I'm seeing you coming out the person that you are, and I find that to be very lucky. MashaAllah, and MashaAllah, and congratulations to your parents for what they have done. MashaAllah. So you have to give back.
Yeah.
MashaAllah. Okay, so we have to go back to what you are. Yeah. You said you're a counselor and you do loss and grief. Why did you choose that?
First, when I decided to do counseling, actually I was not doing counseling for the purpose of loss and grief. I chose counseling when I was 12 years. I was getting I was getting to the teen age. You know, with teenage comes with a lot of challenges. So I was having that personality fight. I was fighting against myself. Everything in me was so negative and all that. Alhamdulillah, my parents, they realized it earlier. So I was taken to a counselor. And by the time I was done with the sessions, I just knew, because my mom had that dream I would do media. But after I finished my Form 4, that was 2010, I stayed home. 2010, 2011, mid-2011, I was supposed to now go back to college. And I was supposed to have come up with an idea of what I want to do in college. You can't just go to college and you don't know what you want to do. So that's when I just surprised and shocked everyone. I want to do psychological counseling. And everyone was like, okay, how did you even come up with that idea? But I just stuck to that. My dad wanted me to do business administration. My mom wanted media, but me personally, I wanted to do counseling, given that where I came from. Because even when I was young, I grew up being sickly and all that. So I was feeling out of place most of the time. But alhamdulillah, out of counseling, I could find myself again. And that's how I came up with the counseling and everything. I did counseling, graduated in 2013.
What did you do? A diploma? Did you do a certificate?
I did diploma in counseling.
MashaAllah, that's great.
Yeah, apparently I could not continue further due to funds, and I was already a mom. I was a young mom. Yeah, I had my first son in 2012 December. When I was about to graduate, I had finished my classes. I was already married, so that's when I had my first.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. So inshallah, I hope you don't have, I mean, inshallah, if you get the time, the funds, you will advance your to degree and maybe in masters.
Yeah, because that, alhamdulillah, in fact, Saizi, they've introduced Islamic counseling, psychology. On my university, I've been doing research on that because I want to go back to school. Yeah, so when I get the funds, I'm hitting the books again.
Okay, I need you to tell me, why did you choose, or rather tell all of us, why did you choose loss and grief? Because, you know, in counseling, there's a lot of departments. We have marriage counseling, we have family therapy, we have a lot, corporate counseling, we have a lot. So why loss and grief?
You know, I was married in early 2012, and within that early 2012, I had my first 3 losses. That is miscarriage.
Oh, you had miscarriages.
Yeah.
In 1 year, you had 3 miscarriages.
Yeah. Then alhamdulillah, I was blessed with a son. Unfortunately, divorced with the first husband. Raised my son as a single mom. It was challenging, so I could say even that made me do more of counseling. In 2016, early 2016 again, alhamdulillah, I was blessed, got married again, got another kid. Unfortunately, or let's say, alhamdulillah, I got into I had this condition they called eclampsia. It was really taking me so far. So at 28 weeks, the pressures went beyond normal. I was at 262 by 110. So that was extremely high. Most of my organs were already not working. So I was in KNH. The only organ which was working actually was my heart. And it was working on a very exciting manner. So it was, and the doctors were scared. If it just got tired and stops, then both me and the baby were gone. So they opted for an emergency CS, had a baby girl. Yeah, she survived for exactly 12 hours. That is in 2016, September 8th, at 12 noon. That's when I had the girl. She survived up to 12 noon on the 9th. Yeah. And alhamdulillah, went to be with Allah. Yeah, or as we say it, she grew her wings. Yeah. I nursed the CS wound, alhamdulillah. I was getting on well, so with the BPs here and there, but within a month, I was good. Then, boom, 2016, exactly 4 months after that, a depot failed me, and I found myself pregnant again. I just say, alhamdulillah, Allah wanted it. So everyone was scared. No, you know, with their health, with everything, you can. That is 2017. I said no. If Allah wanted me to have this baby, I'm not going to do anything about it. And you see, at that time, I'm already, so I'm expecting and I'm fighting grief at the same time. By the time I was already 6 months, I was getting better. Though we never forget. You know, people normally say like, Islam, you are not supposed to be holding on that. But as far as for the research I've done, you can't do that. We are human.
Okay.
And Allah gives you every kid for a purpose. He gave me that kid. He knew that that kid would change me from in one way or the other. So there was no way I could let go. I just told them, I know I should not mourn. So always I used to say like, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. You know, when you sit and tell yourself, there is qadar, qadar Allah. So in fact, that is what kept me moving. I would cry myself and just ask myself, why me? How me? You know, and then at the end of the day, I would say, Alhamdulillah, Allah knew.
Allah knows best.
It is qadar, maybe because my baby was really sick, breathing complications and all that. In fact, even the sisters, they were telling me, Mom, we are trying to save that baby. And I know they really tried. Until I told one sister, do your best. But whatever happens, know that there is God. He decides what happens. And she was like, you know, you are like, I told them I'm fine. So,
I get you.
yeah, when they brought the news of the loss, everyone was like, everyone broke down apart from me.
MashaAllah.
I was broken, but at the end of the day, I just said, Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah ala kulli hal.
Yeah, you know, I had that in mind that what if I had the baby, 24 hours sick,
A disabled one, for instance.
yeah, you know, it's already draining me and all that.
Yeah,
I don't think, I kept on saying I wouldn't be strong enough to survive that.
Yeah. Okay. What we've had is very sad. And it just takes somebody who's very strong to go through all that. Inshallah, we are going to take a break. When we come back, I want you to talk to us more about what you've gone through and the benefits of somebody coming for counseling when it comes to loss and grief, inshallah. So, hi. Akhawat, we're going to take a break inshallah, na pindi tutakaporegea tutaongea mengi kuhusu hii counseling ambayo inahusu loss and grief. Usiende mbali. Karibuni tena katika kipindi chetu cha Al-Muslima Akhawat. Kabla tujachukua mapumziko, alikuwa anatuelezea dada yetu Hamida kuhusu hii counseling ambayo inajulikana kama loss and grief. Hamida alivyosema kuwa amepoteza watoto 3 through miscarriage na mtoto mmoja ambaye inajulikana kama infant loss na 5 ni stillbirth. So we can see that Hamida has gone through a lot, na inshallah tupate kusikia mengi kutoka kwake, na inshallah tujifunze mengi kuhusiana na hii counseling ambayo anafanya. So Hamida, ama kweli umepitia mengi sana na umri ambao uko nayo, na it is amazing how you're dealing with it. Subhanallah, yani Allah has given you the hikmah and Allah has given you the strength to go through it, and I ask Allah to give you even more, not just you but all the women who are in the same situation like you. So what is it that you do when it comes to counseling these people who are going through loss and grief? They have lost something and they're grieving. You as a Muslim woman, you now as a counselor with the Islamic background, with the skills of counseling, of course, grief and loss, how do you go about it?
First, I find my clients. They don't find me. I do charity, or rather volunteer, so I don't charge. When I find at least 4 days every month, I visit hospitals, especially maternity areas. Yeah, I be with the moms, talk to them. Some of them I leave my contacts. Some of them they feel comfortable, like I would want to meet you again and again. So we arrange, meet, at least for a coffee or something, sit down, talk, know how it feels. Actually, I just don't do it with only Muslim moms, even non-Muslims. You've been through loss. At the end of the day, we say like, this person needs God.
Yeah.
More than anything, that person needs to be reminded like, that this is the work of God. Most of us will become very bitter. I've been there and I can tell you, you will question everything. You even find yourself questioning why you are breathing. Like my 2017 loss, it was a special one. I have a twin sister. We were both expecting. In fact, I was the one who took her to the maternity. It was on a Friday. She delivered on a Saturday, and on Monday, I got my labors, went to the hospital, mistaken for infection. So I labored for 36 hours. That is almost 3 days. By the time I had gone for delivery, it was 2 hours to delivery. That is when I lost my kid to prolonged labor. Alhamdulillah. So you can imagine I'm grieving. I have my twin sister here who is having a bouncing baby boy. Even me, I lost a boy. So it was hard, but alhamdulillah, went through it. Alhamdulillah for my sister. She kept on reminding me, this kid is yours. You are the one who, because actually we looked after each other when we were pregnant, both of us. So in fact, we used to call each other ambulance. Yeah. If I get sick, you don't call anyone, call for me, Wahida. She'll come running. She gets sick, you don't call anyone, you call me, I'll go running. So she was my ambulance, I was her ambulance. But alhamdulillah.
So I need you to take me through the counseling sessions. What is it about? What is it that you do to people who have lost?
I sit down, listen to them. That is what most of the mothers who are going, actually not mothers, parents who are going through loss, they lack that. No one is there to listen to them.
To listen to their pain.
Yeah. You know this, when you go through loss, you want to talk about it. It's so bad that people get tired of listening. They don't even realize when you talk about it is when you're healing. And when you talk about it is when you're finding solutions as to how you're going to face life after the loss. Yeah. You never forget loss, but at least there is time. You should be given that time, you talk it out at least, so that next time you can afford to keep a smile when someone approaches you.
Okay. Hamida, those skills that you're using, do you find it in Islam?
Yes.
MashaAllah. And do you find it in Muslims?
I find some of us we have.
So when you were grieving, how did the Muslims react to your grief? You know, we have this myth, we Muslims, we know ourselves, mtu ukipoteza mtu, they always tell kuwa na subra, usilie anachomeka. You know, there are things that they say, subhanallah, those are the last thing you want to hear at that time, isn't it?
Yeah. Apparently, it's so sad when I have to say this. Most of the Muslims, we are judgmental, especially to grieving parents. We judge so much to an extent that we forget the pain of that parent.
Yes, very true.
That is what happens. You hear someone telling you like, you know, this one, Allah's work has no mistake. No one said it has a mistake. but you've lost someone dear to you. This person lived in you. You loved that person before you even saw her or him. So there was no way somebody would just tell you, kufru. And you're like,
So what were, yeah.
okay, it breaks you.
Najua.
It's kufru.
Don't cry.
Don't cry. Hold it back. Yeah, but I'll tell you the truth. When I have such a mother, I tell them, cry. Cry till when you feel like you can talk. I'm here, I'm going to wait for the whole time. You cry, when you're ready to talk, I'll be here, ready to listen. And that's all that such a parent would need.
So we need to change the Islamic system, the Muslims' perception and the way they deal with loss and grief.
Yeah, people need to differentiate between mourning and grieving. You know, mourning, as I term it, is an event. Today, we are having a burial, people are crying and all that. That is mourning. You know, after they have gone to bury and all that, everyone will disperse, and most of them will even forget that there was a burial at this person's place. Yes. But that loved person, that person who has lost a loved one, that person still continues crying. That is not mourning, that is grieving.
That is grieving.
It's allowed. And you find some of us...
Is it acceptable in Islam?
Yeah, some of us through that grieving, we find Iman. I will tell you I was lost. Trust you me. But through my grieving...
You found Allah?
I found Allah. Because there was a time I would cry and say like, or maybe I've forgotten Allah. I need to remember Allah for him to remember me. You see, there is something positive out of it. So it's really sad when you tell that person, you're punishing that person in the grave. How? We don't, some of us don't even cry for that person. We cry for ourselves. Okay. You cry and you say, well, Alhamdulillah, like for someone who has lost a father. That person cries and cries and you're there. You never know, maybe that person says like, my father's book is closed. What does he have? What can I add to his book? You understand? I would cry, I would make dua for that father of mine. But surely when you tell me, don't.
It is wrong.
It's really wrong.
Okay, so of course we're in the advanced level when it comes to the da'wah fi sabilillah. Tunajaribu kama Waislamu, kama watu katika da'wah kufiki. Unajua, the way the world is advancing, the technology is advancing, we can't still use the same da'wah skills or da'wah programs or the way it used to be like 10, 20 years ago. What is your advice to the Islamic institutions that we have? Mosques, you know, we have Islamic organizations. How would you want them to work towards such
Most of our mosques, they don't have counselors.
So you're advising them to have?
Yeah. Okay, this is even logic. I hate comparing religions, but look at our Christians, yeah? Look at our Hindus. They have counselors in their institutions. We don't have. And in Islam, remember from the teachings of Rasul, people were there to lead. People were there to listen. If you go back to Rasul's history, they were there. Counselors were there to lead you, to help. Because actually, no counselor makes a decision for you. A counselor only leads you to that decision. You're the one who makes it. Yeah. But that you need someone who will hold your hand and take you through that
process.
You see, we lose our kids to the society because no one is there to show them the right direction.
No, nobody is there to empathize.
We need to have counselors in our institution. Someone who will follow up to that grieving home, to that home that have gone through loss. Someone who, you don't have to go and give, no, just go.
Yeah. What's your advice? What's your advice for any person out there that has gone through loss and grief? What are you telling her? Your fellow women, your fellow mothers?
I'll tell them one thing. no matter how hard things are, there is always Allah who will definitely find a way to make them easy for you. It is tough. Some of us even end up losing our marriages. I was almost there actually. But when you go through loss, try and find yourself. Find yourself, not you find yourself through
someone else.
Find yourself through Allah.
Thank you.
Wake up, cry at night, cry in your soul. Tell Allah, you knew why. Maybe I'm not yet convinced why it had to happen to me, but I'm sure through you I'll come to see why it happened. Some of us have. I'll tell you the truth, like me, as much as those losses, but when I sit like this, some things happen and I say like, okay, now I understand why Allah did this.
MashaAllah.
It's
and that's
hard.
exactly what Allah wanted.
Yeah.
Habibti, thank you very much for sharing. Thank you also for giving us an insight on exactly what is it you do. And I'm very sure that a lot of women out there have benefited from what you have said. And I ask Allah to give you tawfiq in whatever it is that you do, gives you the strength and hikmah, inshallah. And we want to see more of you in our Islamic institutions, inshallah. Naam. Sasa shukran. Naam, habibti. Watazamaji, tumefika mwisho wa kipindi chetu kwa leo. Mengi yamesemwa, tumeyasikia, tumeyazingatia, na hakika kila kitu kina sababu yake, maana Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala amesema atatupima kwa mali, atatupima kwa watoto, atatupima kwa kila kitu ambacho tunakipenda katika hii dunia. Lakini alimemaliza kwa kusema wabashiri sabirin, na uwapatie bishara wale ambao watakuwa na subra. So tunamwomba Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala atupe subra, tunamwomba Allah atupatie nguvu, tunamwomba atupatie hikma ya kuweza kuishi na hiyo situation ambao we are in. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.